Hi guys, so today I'm going to tell you guys about how I passed my PLAB exam, which is 3 months of preparation. So yeah, let's dive right into it. So I gave my exam this year, which is May 2024 cycle, and I passed it in my first attempt luckily. And to be honest, all of my batchmates who gave this exam along with me, which were around 7 to 8 people, we all of us managed to pass. So the wisdom that I'm going to impart in this video is kind of going to be a collective wisdom from all the 7-8 of us, because we all passed it in the first attempt. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the first most important question is which resource to buy. Now, I know there's a lot of information out there about which resource to buy and which resource to not buy. But from somebody who has given this exam, I believe, and a lot of my batchmates who have already given this exam and passed it in their first attempt, we all believe that the only resource that you need to pass this exam is PLABable. So PLABable is like the holy grail for PLAB 1. It has a beautifully curated question bank which has a lot of questions that are going to be, similar to those that you see on the exam day. So it's going to prepare you very well for them. And apart from that, it has these, cute PLABable gems, which are basically flashcards that have, very concise information present in them. They're very easy to read and they're very handy. You can just read them when you're traveling, when you're free, when you're just on the go. So that way PLABable is really nice. And apart from that, PLABable also has these mocks and big mocks, which again has questions that are going to be very similar to the questions that you see on the exam day. PLAB Keys, on the other hand, is again a very good platform from where you can study and from where a lot of people who have cleared this exam study. But mainly my sole source of preparation has been PLABable. Where I used PLAB Keys was in subjects that had a lot of more weightage, for example, for psychiatry, for medicine, for surgery. For those subjects, I used PLAB Keys more, and that too in the initial days where I had a lot of more free time on my hands, because PLAB Keys tend to be a little more elaborative. What resource you should buy depends completely on your preferences of studying and mainly on the amount of time that you have. So if you're someone who has very few time on your hands, for example, if you just have like 2 months to prepare, I think you should just stick to PLABable. But when I say you should only do PLABable, I mean that you should do PLABable really thoroughly. So what you need to do if you use PLABable is you need to solve all of the questions that are there in the question bank system wise, and you need to do the PLABable gems at least twice before your exams. Like ideally it should be like thrice or 4 times, but like since you have lesser time on your hands, you should at least do them twice. Apart from this, PLABable has these mock series. When I gave my exam, there were around 21 total mocks. So when you're solving these mock tests, which are already there in your PLABable subscription, these mocks are basically questions that are going to be picked up from the question bank that you've already solved. Okay, so when I gave my mocks, there were total 21 mocks that PLABable had to offer. I think they might have increased because every exam cycle, I think they add on a couple of mocks to their subscription plan. So when I gave it, there were total 21 mocks. Now I was a stupid person, so I didn't do more than like 4 or 5 mocks. I completely regret it because it made me feel very underprepared on the exam day, because a lot of my friends out there, they did much more mocks than me. Like they did at least 10 mocks and they were pretty confident on the exam day, and they did really well. In fact, they scored better than I scored. So I would suggest that ideal number of giving mocks would be at least 7 to 8 mocks. Honestly, these mocks are going to be easier for you to give because, like I said, all the questions are going to be taken from the question bank. So after a certain point of time, you will find them repeating. So you will know what the question is by reading just the first line of it, and you directly mark the answer. So that's going to save a lot of time of you when you're giving the mock. So PLABable has a thing where they launch a big mock before every PLAB exam. For example, our exam was in May, so they launched a big mock in April. For an exam in February, they will launch a big mock in January. And there's a fee for every big mock. So it's totally recommended for you to buy those big mocks, because those big mocks actually resemble the exact exam scenario, because the questions that you will see on those big mocks, they tend to be new, they tend to be longer. Most of those questions are going to be not from your question bank. So it's completely recommended for you to do those question banks. Ideally you should do at least 6 to 7 big mocks. Again, like here, I barely did like 3 to 4 big mocks because I lacked time, I didn't have time. But a lot of my friends, they did more than that. So yeah, that was about Plabbable. Coming back to Plab keys, I didn't buy any mock from Plab keys, but I know a lot of friends who did buy a few mocks from Plab keys, and they were really happy about it because they said that a lot of questions were also repeated from those question banks. I personally haven't used them, so I would not comment on it, but yeah, a lot of people do talk about them as well. So yeah, all in all, I think Plabbable is the best resource for Plab 1. But if you want to add a little extra boost to your preparation, if you want to, be more confident on the exam day, like how I wanted to be, you can couple your preparation with Plab keys and use both of them simultaneously. But yeah, despite using both of them, towards the end, a lot of us realize that Plabbable is all you need. Like if you just want to pass the exam without worrying about your scores, if you do Plabbable thoroughly, I think you'll be good to go. Moving on to the next part of the video, which is about how much time I actually spent studying and preparing for this exam. So personally, it took me around 3 months to prepare for this exam. For the first 2 months, I wasn't really able to study that much because I was already doing my internship, so I couldn't log more than 2-3 hours of study time, as my internship was really hectic and there used to be like a lot of night shifts. I used to be on call, so it was really hectic. But for the last month, I used to study for at least 5 hours in a day. I used to solve mocks, I used to revise all the subjects that I'd already studied in the past, so that took a lot of time. But yeah, I would recommend that you study for at least like 3-4 hours in a day starting from day one. So ideally, I think 3 months are enough to prepare for this exam if you have your basics cleared, which I think a lot of us do, simply because we have already studied and prepared for our university exams, so that knowledge helps a lot. But yeah, I think 3 months is like the ideal time for you to prepare for this exam. Some may require more, some may require less. It's completely, it completely depends upon your personal choice and your speed of reading and learning and all of that. As far as I have known students who have taken PLAB 1, I think, 3 to 4 months of like proper study time is a good enough time for you to pass PLAB 1. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any more questions related to this exam, feel free to drop them in the comment section below, or if you want me to create more videos on this exam, do let me know. I would love to do it. So yeah, all the best for everyone who's preparing for it. I hope you guys pass with a great score. Bye bye.